A miracle occurred yesterday in Israel. A miracle that it seems everyone seems to be acknowledging. Jew, non-Jew, religious, non-religious. 3 buses exploded in quick succession in the parking lots in the Tel Aviv suburbs of Bat Yam and Holon last night. Here we see the buses. This is the aftermath. Okay? There were 2 more as well that were set to explode, and the attack was intended to kill hundreds. But the Palestinian Arab that was, I think, given a work permit from Judea and Samaria to work in Israel, foolishly by Israel, I must admit, he planted these bombs, and it was set to go off at 9 a.m., but accidentally he set them all to 9 p.m. The intention was to slaughter hundreds of civilians, leaving a 5-kilogram explosive device in each of the buses. Here he is, putting them in. You see, looking at the camera, and then he's got his bag with the explosives, casually going there and putting them in. But they didn't explode and kill the hundreds of Jews and Israelis as was intended. No, they were set off at 9 p.m. instead, and nobody was hurt. This is Amjad Taha, who I did an interview with last week, which you can watch on JTV. We just posted it. He's a Arab Muslim, very pro-Jewish, pro-Israel. This is a non-Jew. He said, when God chooses to protect you, he bends time itself, turning AM into PM. Was it divine intervention or sheer hatred blinding them? Palestinian Islamist terrorists from the West Bank set their bomb for PM instead of AM, an attack meant to slaughter Israeli women and children, and men, by the way. I don't know why we don't treat everyone as having infinite value of life. During the morning rush, only to detonate in an empty parking lot. A mistake or a miracle? And he's saying this, and to think Israel agreed to the Palestinian Authority's request to allow their workers into Tel Aviv. This is how some of them repaid that trust. The naivety. We also saw another stabbing in the old city of Jerusalem. There are some reporting that it's known that there were almost 15 buses that were scheduled to explode in the area, along with 5 suicide bombers who planned to detonate themselves on the light rail. According to security, this is being reported by Adi 13, who said that the terrorist infrastructure originated in Judea and Samaria. And she commented saying, this is the consequence of releasing murderous predators into the area while confidently assuming we'll be able to manage. Indeed, I have to say that the trading of hostages for Arab murderers and terrorists, much as we pray and want to find a way to get every single hostage back, doing that is unacceptable. Anything that endangers the lives and threatens the security of Israel, of the Jewish people, of anyone's country, is unacceptable. But there can be no doubt that what we've seen is a miracle. And we've seen plenty of miracles. I mean, Iran firing 300 missiles and drones and rockets on 2 occasions. No one killed. No Israelis killed. No Jews killed. This is... Even military and strategic experts looked at this and said, this is just unheard of. This is the probability of this. But I think the key point as well, as has been mentioned, is that we also need to make sure that we're doing our bit as well. God can perform miracles. We too have to do our bit. And that means having an uncompromising approach now to security and to dealing with this. The Arabs have had 100 years to show us they mean peace. They just want statehood like the Jews have statehood, that's what they're interested in. That they're not actually just consumed with vitriol and vile anti-Semitic poison. And they've shown us that that's not the case. They've shown us that that's not really who they are. Have a look at this. This is from yesterday in Gaza when they're celebrating the Hamas bringing the coffins of the Bibas children. And they celebrate this. It also turns out that Hamas didn't provide the mother, Shiri Bibas's body. It was someone else's body. The torment that the Bibas, Yarden Bibas, the father who's left, must be going through, and that it puts all the people of Israel through, is disgraceful. And have a look at this.
شوف تاريخ ميلادي 7 أكتوبر. ما شاء الله. خليتوا لي إياه ذكرى كثير حلوة. شكرا.
She's so happy telling a Hamas official she's so proud that her birthday is October 7th, a special day.
كثير. شو أغرب لعبة شفتوا أطفالكم بيلعبوا فيها؟ أكيد مش أغرب من ألعاب أطفال غزة. نجهز.
Saying these are the toys of our children, bullets.
بدون المستقبل، إذا هيك ألعابهم، كيف هم؟
So I'm sorry, enough's enough. It is time for the Arabs of these areas in Israel who have danced to the tune of Palestinianism, which only represents a modern day version of Nazism, for Israel to say it's time for you to be relocated to the rest of the Arab world. Certainly for Israel to eliminate those who seek to destroy Israel and the Jewish people. But generally as a whole, you've blown it. The majority of you are supportive of this. There has been no resistance. There are resistors in Nazi Europe. We're not saying that here. And even if there will be innocents, people who don't want this, we can't tolerate this anymore. We can't tolerate living in fear every single day of these suicide bombings attacks, people just getting out knives, guns on the streets of Israel, lobbing rockets. It's unacceptable. You want to tell me that's ethnic cleansing? Sorry. What you want is ethnic cleansing. What the Palestinians are calling for is ethnic cleansing. We've tried for 100 years to try peace, and if you've shown us as a majority of your society and as a culture you don't want that, so, we're going to have to say, to protect our own people, you need to leave. And no, you weren't displaced and refugees because of what we did. You were displaced because your own leaders told you to leave while we destroy the Jews and throw them into the sea. The Jews who were living there and moved there legally through legal purchases of land. Jews who maintained a presence there for thousands of years, centuries before Islam even existed. Jews who were there because God himself granted the right for them to be there and to have sovereignty over that land, which even in your Quran, it says that, and you acknowledge. The Quran says in chapter 5, verse 21, "O my people, enter the Holy Land, which God has assigned to you, and do not turn back and become losers." Well, we're not going to turn back and become losers. For those who say, this is unacceptable, you can't do that, what else do you have for us to protect our security and our people? They've blown it. 100 years of us offering peace, statehood. And you know who agrees with me as well? That relocation is the only answer? The President of the United States of America. So it's time for Israel to get tough and to do whatever she needs to do now. If we truly wish to be sovereign in our land, we have to take bold moves and not fear the world. We should only fear God.
Thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.